I was on jury trial for 3 days from October 13, 2009, under the presidency of federal judge Andrew Guilford, based on a false indictment made by federal prosecutor Jennifer Wire. Then, on June 2, 2010, Judge Andrew Guilford sentenced him to 20 years in prison and illegally transferred me to the federal prison FCI Lompoc about 10 days later. At the time, the director of the FCI Lompoc prison was Linda Sanders, the unit manager was Webster, the counselor was Cunningham, and the case manager was Dubos. They lied to me that fake rulings and false documents that don't exist in the federal court register were real, and they just repeated that this was a document provided by the federal court. This was to inform me of criminal activity that is closely related to federal courts and prisons. I have asked Webster and Dubos countless times to provide documents registered in federal court and with a court filing stamp on the first page of the judgment, but were rejected. They only emphasized that these documents were real, regardless of the filing stamp. The illegal incarceration and torture of these people towards me began. From now on, I'm going to open up to viewers on the basis of the untold torture that I've suffered every day while moving to and from numerous federal prisons. I've seen a lot of people kidnapped, illegally imprisoned like myself at FCI Lompoc, and I've seen their indictments and rulings. Their indictments have something in common. They don't have a grand jury signature on the last chapter and are not registered in the federal court register. It is also common that these people's cases are not necessarily present on the federal court register, although they are present on the facial.com. Santa Ana Court Prosecutor Jennifer Wire issues a false indictment that is not registered in federal court, and Judge Andrew Guilford has made this false indictment since October 13, 2009. After a 3-day jury trial with public defender Thomas Wolson, Michael Massara transferred me to FCI Lompoc after a sentence of 20 years in prison with a lawyer. FIC Lompoc prison warden Linda Sanders and Richard Ibis illegally detained me with false charges and rulings, and the prison staff made all kinds of false and racketeering threats to realize false charges and rulings, saying they kill them every day through prisoners and kidnapping their families and sending them to Guantanamo Bay. With this daily blackmailing, a cruel and vicious federal prison life began. My life and my family's lives were robbed, and the time of hell began. The hellish life here has also led me to reveal that U.S. federal courts and prisons are criminal organizations that specialize in kidnapping and fraudulent trials. I started this YouTube broadcast to let people around the world know about the historical and legal digs of U.S. residents and Native Americans who have been kidnapped and illegally detained while being tortured, moving from numerous U.S. federal prisons under illegal incarceration. I will also present as factual evidence that these cruel humans send an innocent person to prison after a trial of fraud in court, and that prison staff target those abducted, illegally imprisoned, and torture and blackmail.